This is Johnny with Tigerbomb MMA, and today I'm going to go over UFC Park versus Taira. Yeah, interesting week it's been. Funny that it's going to be at the Apex, and they're still charging you like $2,000 or more to get into the Apex to watch a fight that didn't have a main event, and now we do. We've got Taira versus Park. 12-bout card. I'm going to give you my quick thoughts and predictions on this. Before I do that, as always, I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on the previous card, which would have been the Whitaker and DeRitter card. Not a bad night for me, betting-wise. I did well. I bet on DeRitter at like plus 135 and then plus 133. And yeah, it's the stunt-omania of cards where there's a couple dudes on there early on, just pulled massive stunts, and it was really hard to watch, but had a perfect main card, and not overall a bad night. But first fight of the night, what was that? Martin Buday defeats Buchecha. I took the plus 250 on Martin Buday, as I said I would. I did a half unit. Paid off. It was a unanimous victory for Buday. What did I call him? Fartin Buday? Anyways, dude did not win unanimously. I thought it would have been a split. I think Buchecha did enough to, not win the fight, but to sway one idiot judge to make that idiot judge think that he won the fight. Stephen Wynn absolutely demolishes Muhammad Yahya. As expected, I did have Wynn by TKO, and I was so pissed every time. What's his name? What is his name? Oh my God. The ref. I'm seeing his face right now. The amount of time I'm hesitating is how as many times as Homeboy was like not stopping the fight. And why can't I? Herzog, Jason fucking Herzog. He wanted Muhammad Yahya dead. He wanted that boy dead. Multiple times he bounced his head off of the ground. Props to Yahya for fighting back, at least. It's like he never at any point curled up into a ball. He could have. But the fact that they allowed him to continue fighting, I can at least say good for him, because he even dropped Wynn at one point. But yeah, what an interesting fight, and no single judge gave that first round a 10 anything other than 10-9. I thought that was stupid. I would have given it a 10-7, as in like, hey, judge, probably stop the fight. Billy Elikana dances with Ibo Aslan. I had Aslan on a parlay with another dude with the inside the distance and the under, and honest to goodness, it was Aslan's fight to lose. He could have just done anything, and he would have won. A couple teep kicks from Elikana and a couple right hands literally won him the fight. And total embarrassment for Aslan. That's a huge stunt, number one. Number two stunt, Amanda Ribas was showing she was the better fighter, and then she got complacent against the cage. Props to Tabitha, landed a beautiful elbow, but Ribas took a knee and was comfortable losing that fight. Apparently she does need facial surgery. I'm proud to say I can give that to her if she wants to, but at this very moment, though, a bit underwhelming from her, and it's like if you're getting TKO'd by Tabitha Ricci in the only way that she can, which is by holding you against the cage, not a good look. Maybe it's time to start thinking about other career choices. Davey Grant defeats Damon Blackshear. Damon, first round, dominates, and then either he gets tired or I don't know. I really don't know with Damon Blackshear. That was he was minus 300. I took him by sub. He didn't try round number 2 or round number 3. Props to Davey, though. He just threw a bunch of stuff at him, as Davey will do, and he did enough to win the last 2 rounds. I wouldn't even say enough. Literally, Damon didn't do shit in those last 2 rounds. He didn't try. It was just embarrassing. Carlos Leal, whether he needed a couple seconds to make sure that the wire transfer went into his bank, but he walked in there proud to say, I'm going to get knocked the fuck out by a 41-year-old man. All the acai bowls and steroids from Brazil wasn't enough to save this guy. He just walks forward. I understand what he was trying to do. I wanted him to win. I had him at the under, but, Aslan screwed that up for me in that parlay. And, yeah, Salikov was considered more of a kicking threat. Leal did not respect the hands. He paid for it. Bryce Mitchell defeats Nurmagomedov. It was very simple. Either Saeed gets the sub. He tried it in the 3rd round. Bryce Mitchell reversed him, took the back. Very much so 1-1 heading into the 3rd, and the gas tank of Nurmagomedov was not going to save him here. I did take Bryce Mitchell live. not as much as I wanted to, because with Bovada, literally the moment that you place a bet live, sometimes it just takes it away immediately. I was pretty pissed about that. But yeah, Guskov defeats Krylov. I did take Guskov. I took half a unit there. Knocks out Krylov. It's funny that this was supposed to be the toughest test for Guskov, and he made it look really easy. He usually gets a finish in the second round. He got his finish in the first round this time. Excuse me. I think Guskov is a bit underrated. He's very goofy. You don't take him seriously, but with that awkward style, sometimes you don't know what to do, and then he cracks you in the mouth when you're throwing a naked leg kick. Alsu Almabayev, I took him minus 103 against Ochoa. Ochoa had a good account of himself, but it does show that he's not quite there yet. He's still very young. And if I'm going to be honest with you, if this kid doesn't fight more intelligently, this guy was kind of going a little bit too wild and too comfortable trying to play off of his back against a guy who's not going to get submitted. It could have maybe been a bit closer. To me, it was all Almabayev. Pretty easy night for him. Shira Bullet defeats Mark Andre. Fun fight. Props to Magomedov. He at least showed that he has guts in there. Got his nose broken real bad. Very entertaining fight. Not really much to say about that one. And then Peter Yan defeats Marcus McGee. I did take Marcus McGee early because I thought maybe, hey, I can bet him early at like plus 300. He might win round number 1. Cash the fuck out. Normally that doesn't work out for me, but it did, even though I actually thought Peter Yan won 30-27. So when I checked the app, Bovada, and it was telling me, hey, here's another $50. Cash out if you want. I'm like, okay. Normally doesn't work that way when I think the guy lost the first round. Regardless, though, Marcus looked good enough for the judges to say that he won one round. For me, though, I thought Peter Yan looked really good, and as he does, looks better in round number 2, round number 3. So props to both men. Main event, Rainier de Ritter defeats Robert Whittaker. I had 2 bets on de Ritter. Both cashed, obviously, both money line, plus money. Robert looked interesting. He looked good early. I'm not going to say. De Ritter, he's just kind of like a force to be reckoned with. Like, he will walk you down. He was throwing that knee beautifully. He did get countered in the third. It was a fun fight. It wasn't the greatest fight. It wasn't the best performance from either man. Robert got tired. De Ritter on top of you is an absolute menace. The fact that he got dropped bad in the third and then came back and recovered and got robbed down was impressive by itself. Is he ready for the title shot? He never was, and he never will be, but it doesn't stop him from actually being the UFC champion. It's going to be hilarious when he beats Strickus in some stupid-ass manner. As for Rob, I don't know what's next for him. Despite the fact that I had money on de Ritter and there was some controversy, it was a split decision, Rob didn't do enough in that 5th round. I thought de Ritter did enough of control, which I will bring back when I'm talking about this card coming up right here. There's a certain fight that I thought maybe the damage outweighed the control. In this case, it didn't. I think de Ritter's control time against the cage, a couple pot shots here, was enough to win and steal that round. Rob kind of got too complacent, and when he did fire, he allowed himself to get back against the cage. It was really Rob giving up, essentially. He tried, but he just couldn't do it. He was too fatigued. But I'm going to get back into this card here, the Taira Park card. First fight of the night, very short notice. We've got Austin Bashi versus John Yannis. To be perfectly honest with you, I taped this quickly last night because I know what Bashi's going to want to do. He's going to want to come out here and ground and bash. What are the odds? Minus 550 for Bashi. Come back on Yannis is plus 400. Yannis, whatever. I'm just going to call him John. Dude fought for the Cage Fury Championship, I believe, against Nick Aguirre. Nick took his back multiple times. Nick is not a very good fighter, despite the fact that Nick actually was a former, I guess you can call him a UFC vet. He fought Peyton Talbot and took a round off of him. Let's just get this straight. Today is going to be the X-fighter took a round from better fighter. Now, just because Nick Aguirre took a round from Peyton Talbot doesn't translate to John being able to actually win a UFC fight. He might, but not this one. I think Bashi is just too good at this point. He's going to try to take him down. He will take his back. His submission skills are legit. His striking's not quite there yet. Like, he's not uber comfortable winning a fight just striking, where grappling will be his second. And not to say that I want that from him, but I would need him to be more comfortable in a situation where he doesn't need to fatigue himself desperately trying to get a takedown. Here, though, not going to be the case. This is not a Christian closeted Rodriguez with that closeted homosexual energy, just being able to, push the hips away. And I'll get into that when he fights next. But with John, good boxing, but there's still a lot to be desired with the wrestling. It's not terrible. He will be able to stuff shots, maybe early, but I think eventually Bashi will overpower him, take his back, and submit him. So give me Bashi by, I'm going to say submission round number 1 or 2. I'm going to say round number 1. I think at this moment, he's the guy. Like, I'm not going to throw away the baby Bashi with the bathwater. The guy is very talented. He had a very tough first fight in the UFC against a guy who was wanting to prove something. The fact was that he was no longer gay, and he looked good. He's like, no, don't hug me. I don't like that anymore, said Christian Rodriguez. Moving on, we've got Piera Rodriguez, funny, versus Caitlin Souza, minus 195. Is that valid? It's, you can get worse odds, I suppose. I'll stick with the minus 195. Come back on Caitlin Souza is plus 145. To put it simply, like, I've never really valued Souza as a valid fighter. I thought she sucked. 15-5. She's okay. I think she's gotten better. I think my perception of her is better. Striking-wise, not too bad. She does have power, some grappling. But you get her ass to the mat and put her flat, she's not going to be able to get back up. She doesn't really do too much. She'll try, but she's more complacent off of her back. That's kind of how you beat her. Piera, I do like the fact that this girl, bit of a mean streak. One of her recent losses was she headbutted a bitch. And funny enough, I needed her to do that because I had the other bitch to win by whatever means. Like, I had her, I think, plus 1 something. What was her? Cornolle? I was like, bless you, Piera Rodriguez. You cashed my bet by cheating. But I like that about her, right? Really dumb move. She won't be doing that again. I like that despite the fact that in her last fight, she fought someone with not the best grappling in Knudsen. Knudsen was getting better. And the fact is she went 10 out of 10 takedowns, she got 8 of them. The fact that she attempted 10 in total is a really good sign in the right direction. That's the way you need to beat Souza. Souza will probably win round number 1. Piera's going to, try to be very careful here. You got to make the bitch work, and I think that's what she's going to do. Now, I do think Souza, I keep going back from Souza and Souza. Souza, again, ain't the worst. I think the power threat's going to be there. Ultimately, though, it's going to be the minute winning of Piera Rodriguez. It's more than likely going to steal this. If Souza does not have a significant moment, odds are Rodriguez is going to win this based off of that control time. And we'll see how good Rodriguez's chin is. But we'll see. Maybe I'm overestimating Souza based off of how bad I thought she was. I never would have thought she would have gotten many UFC wins. The fact that she could not finish Manic Man. And I actually thought Man could do well by implementing that same style. Take her down, get her tired. Round number 2, round number 3 will be all yours. In this case, Man took her down in round number 2 or 3, that is, and she couldn't get back at that point. So give me Rodriguez by a decision here. I'm not going to overthink it here. Next bout, another fight I'm not going to overthink. We've got Estevam, Rafael Estevam, minus 500. I'm curious. Yeah, still about the same. Felipe Bunes, plus 350. The physicality of Estevam is going to win him this fight. He typically banks 2 rounds. I actually think he's got a good chance here to finish Bunes later. The grappling, the strength differential, I think it's going to be too much for the aging flyweight in Bunes. If Jose Johnson, a walking Skeletor, is tossing your bitch ass around, despite the fact that he won that one with a beautiful armbar, if he's tossing you around like that, Estevam's going to do the same and probably worse. I do like his control time in the first 2 rounds, but this guy consistently gasses, and round number 3 is always a problem. But he tends to win these fights. Give me Estevam by a decision. He's 13-0. He's going to be the younger guy, more physical. He probably needs to cut more weight. He might miss weight here. Has he missed weight? I don't fucking remember. I'm pretty sure he has, but let's take a look. Yeah, he missed weight against Charles Johnson. So if he misses weight here, he's probably going to dominate Bunes even worse. So give me give me Estevam by a decision. But we'll see. I'm hoping he finally gets a finish. I think Bunes is a fun fighter, but he's up there in age. He has a black belt. He's got good skills, but he's going to get bitch walked. We've got next up Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore. Man, these guys are going to be interesting. Odds have it in favor of Vieira, minus 220. Comeback on Gore is plus 180. I will say Gore, training out of the MMA lab with Benson Henderson, I'm seeing slight improvements with him. He's definitely a striker, but I do like his power guillotine. It's solid. Like, he's gotten 2 guys with it. He got Tricoli with it. That's still very fucking funny that he got Tricoli with a guillotine. But this is not Tricoli. This is a legit black belt, the black belt hunter. He is aging, but with age and with time in the UFC, he's getting more comfortable. My biggest worry in this fight is that Tresean Gore can catch Vieira. His striking is good. His athleticism is good, except that he's still very green. I don't know how quickly an advanced Benson Henderson can get Tresean Gore, but I'm not going to say I've not been impressed. Even in a loss against Tulio, he looked decent. You know, he looked tough. He looked like he was willing to bang, and his durability looked good. I'm very curious about this fight, but again, not overthinking things. If Vieira does take his back and he takes him down, my guess is he will. It might be very, very quick night for him. So give me Vieira by submission in the first round. This is one of those matchups for Vieira, like, go back to what you were doing when you first got into the UFC. Just bum rush him, take him down, take the neck, and you're good. Granted, yes, it backfired against Fluffy Hernandez, but that was Fluffy. This is not fucking Fluffy. The more he tries to, like, hey, I'm going to strike with you a little bit, the more danger he's going to be in with Tresean Gore. I don't think this fight's going to go the distance. I think it probably goes under 1.5. To be safe, 2.5. But yeah, give me Rodolfo Vieira round number 1. Next bout, we've got Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. Odds have it in favor of, let's make sure here, Nakamura, floating around minus 400. Comeback on Fletcher is a plus 300. Now, when I mentioned the control time against the cage versus damage, Nathan Fletcher versus Colin Lofrain, I initially gave that fight to Fletcher. Rewatching it, the damage that he implemented in round number 3, although significant and the most damaging shots of the round, I counted. And props to these judges who gave the fight to Lofrain. I have to eat my words there. I thought Fletcher got robbed. When you pay attention and you put it into perspective, I think Fletcher lost goddamn near 4.5 minutes of that fight. And within the last, say, 12 seconds, he landed that flurry. Very good flurry. Didn't drop Colin. Didn't hurt him terribly. Was it enough to win the fight? Unfortunately not, man. Like, when you wait that long, and if you don't have a significant, like, hey, I dropped them and I nearly finished them, it's really difficult to say, like, everything that the other guy did to keep you there and nullify you doesn't count. I hate saying it, but unfortunately that was the case. And I bring that up because of the previous mention of the Ritter fight. The Ritter more or less did the same thing, but there was less of that, like, awe-inspiring finishing type of sequence from Rob. And with Fletcher, he's a good fighter. He's very fun. I think he clearly has a really tough matchup against him. Rinya, the guy has ridiculous wrestling pedigree. He is physically strong. He is very athletic. His striking is still very stiff, but he has it. I will believe he's going to be the lesser striker than Fletcher. Fletcher's just a little more fluid on the feet, a little bit more comfortable, more karate-esque, if you will. And the threat of the submission is going to be there from Fletcher. Will he be able to take Nakamura down? I don't absolutely believe that. He still has allegedly 100% takedown defense. The only times he's been on his back is via, I guess, in his last fight against Muin Gafurov, where he got dropped. Unfortunately for Fletcher, the game plan to beat him is there. Don't get your back taken, hold him against the cage, hold him down, pound him out, get into the side control or in the half mount, and just kind of beat him up there. And I think Nakamura, there's two possibilities of which version we might see from him. The guy who's like, screw it, you know what? I'm a pure wrestler. Let me go back to my original style. Let me dominate this dude. Let me not put myself in any danger. I don't want another loss. Or it's going to be like, hey, I am a dude that wants to, compete with the best in the world. I want to show my striking. I don't want to take him down, which is kind of the style he's been trying to do recently. Kind of redeem himself. Actually, it's a third option, the Ibo Aslan option. This guy just fights like a pussy and is too afraid to do anything because he doesn't want to lose, and then he loses. So ultimately, I'm going to go with the latter. I think he will go back to his wrestling. He's going to be smart here. He will be able to dictate who goes to the ground when, and at that point, he just has to be very careful not to get caught in any submissions. So give me Nakamura to have a very measured performance here. Nowhere near covering the minus 400 price tag. I think it's like a stay away from this one. Unfortunately for Fletcher, though, they're giving him a really tough matchup. But it's a tough matchup on paper because of, what we expect to happen. If Nakamura shows up like in his last fight where he was kind of mesmerized by what Gafurov was doing, we might have an unfortunate second loss for Rinya. So again, he is probably not a guy you want to bank and put in a parlay, but give me Nakamura by decision here. Next bout, we've got Nick Klein versus Andre Pulyaev. Let me make sure the odds are still within reason here. Yeah, Pulyaev is pulling away. He's roughly minus 150 comeback on Klein. He is plus 130. This is a lower level middleweight fight, but I do think Pulyaev is probably the better of the two. I think initially with the odds that you're seeing here on Tapology, they were a pick'em. It's because you're expecting Pulyaev to look like shit. And Klein, we kind of know where he stands. Like, he's a decent fighter, good jiu-jitsu. He can choke you out, but he's going to rely on takedowns. And against Pulyaev, I think his striking is going to be better. I do like the kicks to the body that he throws. I do believe against different competition, hard hitters, you can make sure this guy quits against the cage. I've seen that happen. He nearly did it the last fight, except that Duncan didn't really try to win that fight by finish, mostly because I had money on him. Now, in this case, the perception that Pulyaev might pull something stupid, like the last time he fought a grappler within the realm of UFC was in the Contender Series against Liam Anderson, and he kind of put himself in really stupid positions here. If he can avoid doing any of that and giving Nick Klein, the ability to choke him out, I think he wins this one comfortably. He will be the better fighter. He will be the longer guy. Harder kicks, I think, will hit harder. Klein, I don't value him quite high. I think the fact that he got a UFC contract for choking out a guy that the UFC actually wanted, kind of a byproduct as to why he's in the UFC, right? And they kind of made that clear when they gave him a guy that they were positive was going to win in his debut against Abdul Malik, yeah. And as expected, he had a good moment against him with that spinning back fist. But when Malik stopped being a pussy, we saw what Klein's really made out of. Like, he just kind of pushed him down, and then he just pounced on him. Give me Pulyaev to win this one, either by decision or TKO later. I think Puliev's not as bad. I think a lot of people were on Pulyaev to beat Duncan his last fight. I thought that was stupid. I think this is a much more favorable matchup for Pulyaev, hence the odds kind of going in his favor. But I think that the perception that Pulyaev might pull something fucking stupid is what's making Klein relatively close in the odds. I think Pulyaev should be roughly around minus 150 where he's kind of at now. So anyone who got him at a pick'em odds, good job. But at this point, give me a decision for Pulyaev. Next bout, we've got Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. This is a fight where I am torn because of the possibilities that might occur. As I mentioned earlier, the perception of how good Kevin Vallejos is might be a problem. He's minus 500 in his second UFC fight. Who the fuck do they think this kid is? Like, I know the talk is like this is the new and the second coming of Ilia Topuria. This guy went toe to toe and went to a decision with John Silva and took a round off John Silva. He beat John Silva for 1 round. So what? Like, really, so the fuck what? Kevin's good. I'm not going to downplay him, but I think the odds are getting out of hand, man. Like, the legend of Kevin Vallejos is bigger than Kevin Vallejos. I like the kid. I don't mean to disrespect him or talk shit. I want him to do well, but this is getting out of control. I do think he's got the better style, right? I love his boxing combinations, right? The way that he attacks the body, very similar to how, Ilia boxes, throws a hard, low half kick to kind of throw his opponents off guard. The dude is powerful as shit. He's very clean boxing. Now, what I don't like is often he kind of looks for the perfect kill shot, where Danny Silva on the opposite end, the dude's athletic. How I described it is that he's got good head movement, good boxing, a good training camp, good wrestling, good chin, very decent aggression. Footwork is ridiculous as well. The only thing I have an issue with is his fight IQ. Sometimes he doesn't do enough to put a stamp on rounds. Hence, he has 2 split decision victories in the UFC, and he's plus 345. Is he any better elsewhere? Where the fuck are you, bro? There you are. Yeah, yeah, plus one, plus 330 or so, plus 345. You're telling me that a bigger dude with a wrestling background that has decent to good boxing is going to be fighting another more or less boxer who's a little bit shorter and he's minus 500? I think Danny's got a good chance here to pull it off. Even Kevin himself said, like, this is my toughest test, but I think I can beat him. And I think he can do it as well. It just depends on really Danny. If Danny wants to come out here and maybe mix in some takedowns and win minutes, there's a good chance he can win this fight pretty comfortably. I think he can outpower Kevin. Kevin's a little fucking shit brick house. Brick shit house. There you go. And he's going to be the more powerful of the two. I think that just Danny's head movement might be a bit of a problem. I think Danny's going to have the kicking advantage as well, being the taller guy. He's going to be able to dictate the reach, the head movement, the footwork. I'm leaning Danny here. I think it's kind of like an auto bet for me, because if Kevin doesn't just put him out cold, which Danny hasn't been put out, I don't believe. It's one of those things I checked just to be positive, and now I don't fucking remember. He's only lost 1 time, and that was, yep, never been knocked out. That's kind of the thing. Like, how good do you think Kevin is? I think he's very good. I just don't think he's minus 500 good. Hence, I'm kind of leaning the dog here. I think he's got a good chance. The other issue that I have with Danny in this case, he might throw the volume, but the effective fighting of Kevin and his punches, I think it might sway some boxing judges if this is primarily a boxing matchup. Hence, the guy that gets the takedowns will probably separate himself. Hence, I'm leaning Danny to do so. Like, we've seen him do it when he was kind of getting boxed up a bit by that fucking moron Josh Kulabau. He was implementing the wrestling. As for Kevin, is he going to be able to take down Danny? I don't know, man. So give me Silva by a decision. This is primarily just like a scientific test. I'm thinking that the odds makers are just kind of gushing over and like shucking off Vallejos, probably because of the John Silva 1 round that he beat. So yeah, give me Silva by a decision. I'll go down with the ship on this one. Next bout, we've got Neil Magny versus Zaleski, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. So not much to really say on this one. Zaleski's minus 200 roughly. Neil Magny plus 180. I don't like how Magny's been looking lately. Not in the sense of like cardio wise or physique. It's his reactions to getting hit that have been really bad. and I'm not liking it. Like, he's been put out twice in a row in the last 2 fights, right? Against Prates. Prates had his had this kid running around like dazed, trying to avoid him, and then when he would hit him, he would like stumble, and then he finally put him out with a shot to the top of the dome, put him out cold. Michael Morales, like, he was doing well against Morales. What's funny is that I thought Neal could survive into the second round, so I took Morales round number 2, and to win, that spinning back elbow cracked him. Didn't even look all that hard, and then he just reacted horribly at that point. I'm not liking that from Neal. I think despite the fact that, they're both around the same age and Zaleski's 1 year older, I at least like Zaleski's reactions. I think he's on the right supplements, if you catch my drift. And on top of that, there's really one path to, to victory for Neal, and that is to kind of hold him against the cage, tire him out, and win on minutes, where Zaleski can win by attacking the lead leg, as we know about Magny, spamming overhands, and trying to take his back and trying to submit him, which Zaleski is a black belt. He's legit. So I think Zaleski has more paths to win, but Neal Magny's path to win is typically something that is pretty consistent. But give me Zaleski by TKO. I'm going to say second. Give me third round TKO. Typically, though, I think Zaleski tends to pick it up later. I know within his last few fights, he's been kind of dropped on a couple of occasions, like with Renat, he dropped him. Randy Brown, he dropped him, and then he beat the shit out of Scroggin. So, and then his last fight against that giant Cheaty, what are you going to do with a flying knee up the middle? Give me Zaleski, round number 3 TKO. Next bout, we've got Karol Rosa versus Nora Cornolle. Before I talk about this fight, let me make sure what the odds are for Rosa. She is floating around still minus 170. Cornolle is plus 150. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics here, but I think Rosa's better. I think she's got the grappling upside. She can dictate the takedowns. Cornolle's not the best off of her back. She can get controlled. She's getting better. She's got the Muay Thai background. Decent clinch game. Good knees. Very aggressive with the elbows. Rosa's better everywhere. I think even in her last fight, she didn't look too bad. The output sucked. Truly, what separated her and Perez weren't the takedowns. It was the output. I think had she done more, put more out there, and not let Perez just kind of spam bullshit, she would have been able to win that fight. Within, say, round number 2 and beyond, she was doing well stuffing takedowns. And even when she got taken down in round number 2, she was doing well. She was controlling where Perez was going, yet she didn't do shit. That's a problem with her. Rosa should win. Rosa is going to win. But because she might lose, that's why no one's betting her. And that's pretty much the case here. I'm going to go with Rosa, but she is not someone you can trust. Now, here's the funny part about her. If you were to say, I don't know, tell your buddy who knows nothing about MMA, be like, hey, I'm going to be placing some bets on MMA. And they're like, oh, let me take a look at the line. Hey, this Karol Rosa, I'm doing some quick research on her. She's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's younger by 5 years. She's fought better competition. I think I'm going to bet her. And you don't say shit. You're like, go ahead, man. Go for it. He will bet her. He'll win his money. And he'll be like, wow, this Karol Rosa is a moneymaker for me. I might look to bet her next time. And then him not knowing what the situation is with her might get burnt. But you let that friend have that moment where Karol Rosa is the best fighter in the world. And that's kind of where I'm leaning, that if you end up betting her and you don't watch the fight, you're going to find out that she won by unanimous decision or by a finish, by submission, and you'll be happy with that. But seeing the fight, you might be fucking shitting yourself. But give me Rosa by a decision here. Next bout, we've got Estevam Ribovics versus Elvis Brenner. Brenner, as I call him affectionately, the Shuto box janitor, the man who learned proper jiu-jitsu technique by watching Charles Oliveira performing rear naked chokes on actual fighters while he's performing these rear naked chokes on his mop. And he's like, I got it good. Brenner is an overperformer. Like, the guy is tough as shit. He's a zombie, and I'll give him props for that. But we've been seeing what happens when he's actually fighting dudes that can truly put up a fight. You know, in his last fight, he got demolished. He finally got put out against a dude like Orobai. He got essentially dominated. Now, Brenner being Brenner, he's always going to fight. He's always going to put his life on the line to try to get the win. And he looked good early, and in certain occasions, he was able to reverse. But against Ribovics now, it's going to be really tough. Ribovics, he's minus 285, and I expect him fully to knock out Brenner. I think Brenner's got good power, but his technique and his boxing's not as good. Ribovics is, I'm trying not to, like, glaze the dude, but I like his style. I like how he is very similar to Elvis, where he's not going to quit. He's got this, like, I'm not fucking losing type of mentality, but his type of I'm not fucking losing mentality involves separating you from consciousness. Now, in his last fight where he lost a split decision to Hackbarast, early on in the first round and a half, that laser beam of a left of Hackbarast was just popping the head back of Ribovics, but he never seemed to get deterred, didn't even seem to let it bother him. And then I thought he was taking over late round number 2, and then round number 3, he nearly finished Hackbarast. Now, I still would have given the fight to Ribovics. I thought he did well, more than enough to win round number 2, but it is what it is. You have a split round, shit's going to happen. If he gets to that position with Brenner, where, say, Brenner doesn't miraculously take him down and choke him out, which I doubt it's going to happen, or Ribovics doesn't just put him out cold in the first 2 rounds, and if it hits that 3rd round where it's like, let's fucking go, Estevan's going to beat the shit out of Brenner, and it's not going to be pretty. For that main reason, the finishing upside of Ribovics, the fact that his cardio is ridiculous, and he can go, man. This guy will not stop. I expect him fully to viciously finish Brenner. Fight probably doesn't go the distance here, depending on what that line is. Actually, let me take a look what it is. If it's not terrible, it might be worth a shot. The under is plus 185. So that's not bad if you expect maybe Ribovics to just put him out cold. And let's see, Brenner by decision plus 400, Ribovics by TKO plus 140. There you go. Brenner TKO plus 1200. Yeah, you know, that'd be some shit. Ribovics submission plus 1800. What has Ribovics done to submit dudes? Let me see here. Out of curiosity here. Oh, yeah, he does have a nasty Kimura trap. I don't expect him to catch Brenner with that, though. Let's see. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 170. There you go. There's your little parlay piece. Yeah, give me Ribovics TKO round number 2. Next bout, Chris Duncan versus Mateusz Rebecki. I've already said, man, if Rebecki gets choked out here, I'm probably done. I'm just going to call it a day. I'm going to go fucking retire and live off the land. Plus 175 for Duncan. Come back on Rebecki, minus 210. Let's take a look at these odds. This being the co-main event, is it? Yep, it's going to be a fun one. Fight ends in a draw, plus 1600. Why the fuck not? You never know. Let's see. The under is plus 130. The under 2.5, minus 115. Fight doesn't go the distance, minus 210. Duncan inside the distance, plus 290. There you go. And Rebecki inside the distance, plus 100. So plus money any way you really want it. I am going to go Rebecki here. I think he's just too physical. Like, Duncan is a physical guy himself. He's very strong. He's built like a fucking brick outhouse. The fact is that he's getting opportunistic submissions, and it's ridiculous. I think Rebecki's too smart to get caught, but then again, I thought Jordan Vucenic was too smart to get caught. And here we are. With Duncan, though, when you tape the guy, he looks so robotic. He looks so slow, and he's there to get hit. He's very strong, and he's training with a good camp at ATT. And I believe even Rebecki and Duncan have trained in the past. Rebecki's a shorter guy, but I do fully expect him to get takedowns if needed, lay on top of Chris, do some damage. But what I really want to see and what I'm expecting is Rebecki to go in close, be the faster guy with the harder head movement, be very careful with anything coming up the middle from Duncan, him being the taller guy. Just crack him up with an overhand right, drop him, and finish him. It's just literally, you cannot go wrong with taking Duncan inside the distance, just because if he does get that choke and you feel like an idiot, you're going to miss out on that plus 290. But give me Rebecki inside the distance TKO. I'm going to say round number 2. I think at this point, the biggest issue with Rebecki is he's been in 2 back-to-back hellacious wars, one of which he got TKO'd, and the other one he went to a split decision with oral by. And that is the biggest factor here. How is his durability going to be? Because if Duncan cracks him, and he's not the same dude he was 3 fights ago, this could be the end of Rebecki. I don't care how beastly he is and how quick he is and how much of a bad motherfucker he is, but if his durability is down the shit because of all the damage he's taken, maybe it's not a bad idea to take Duncan. I just cannot physically pick Duncan for those reasons. You tape him and he's really hard to watch because he's so slow. And I think that if Rebecki's smart, he's got a clear path to victory here to win by TKO or even by submission. Duncan's not out here not getting choked out. He just got choked out by Loco Torres. But yeah, moving on, we've got main event. Short notice bout, Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung-Sung Park. Park supposed to fight Steve Erceg, and now he's getting a tougher matchup in Tatsuro Taira. Taira was supposed to fight Albazi, and now he's fighting Hyung-Sung Park, which is a lesser matchup for him. And the odds have it in favor of Taira minus 400. Come back on Park is plus 300. I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to go with Taira here. The main reason being that this is a fortunate bounce back win for him, where I don't think Park does anything better than he does, other than maybe, he's got the undefeated fighter mindset. The boxing's there. I don't think he's got tremendous power to hurt Taira. He's more or less a guy who's been riding the leftovers of Taira. Taira knocked out Carlos Hernandez, and Park took his back and choked him out. Of course, Taira could have done that himself as well. At this point, I like Park. I like the fact that he has the balls to take this fight on short notice against a really tough opponent. And we do have that Asian versus Asian clash here at the main event. As much as I like Park, I don't see any possibility where his back doesn't get taken, or he doesn't get taken down, or possibly dropped in any situation where there's going to be some grappling and Taira takes the back. And let me tell you something about Taira's back takes. The way he's able to control Royval, even though he lost that fight, in those moments where he was controlling Royval, he was dominating Royval. And I'm very surprised. Well, I'm not really. I wouldn't have been surprised, I should say, if he would have been given a 10-8 in either of those 2 rounds to possibly make it a draw, or maybe even allow him to get the win. I'm not saying he should have. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. The only other person that was able to dominate Royval like that is the current champion in Pantoja. So, is Hyung-Sung Park going to get his back taken? Yes. The only way he doesn't is if he knocks out Taira. Do I see that happening? I don't think so, at least without having him survive some back take from Taira. Taira, I think he is showing some tendencies, but again, that was against elite level competition. He's fought a former title challenger and beat him in Alex Perez. Say what you want about him, he beat him. And then he nearly beat Brandon Royval. And by that I mean he went to a split decision where, given retarded circumstances, maybe a certain judge would have given him the fight. So all I'm saying is that the level of competition is not there for Hyung-Sung Park. But props to the kid for taking the fight. I'm going to go with Taira by a submission. I'm going to say round number 2. I'm going to say rear naked choke. Really not hard for me to say. What are the odds on the submission for Taira? I'm very curious. Another thing for Park, he's been dropped. He was going to fight that Mongolian guy, Temburao, and people were actually taking him to maybe knock out Park. So I just find it kind of nuts that, I'm curious to see what the opinion is for someone taking Park. Is it just simply, oh, Taira lost to one of the top guys in the division, thus I'm going to take Park? I don't know. I don't know what the narrative is going to be, but what is fight doesn't go the distance. It's not up there yet. Under 4.5 rounds, minus 175, under 3.5, minus 130. Man, I'm liking that, the under. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below regarding this main event. What do you guys think in regards to what are your favorite picks for this fight card? Do you really think Park might have a chance here? And if so, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Johnny Tigerbomb. I will see you next week.